Hey there, moms and dads, boys and girls, sissy and brothers. How you guys doing? You got AKA the Weather Soul here with Dougie. There we go, Dougie. DJ
Hey,
Doug.
Dougie.
How's it going, guys? And this is the Weather Soul podcast, and we are just happy that you're here today because, looks like Dougie might be dipping in and out of here. He says he's having a little bit of computer problems, but that's kind of natural around this freaking time of year or world. Anytime that we're trying to get online and keep our computers safe and unhacked and stuff like that. So Dougie might have a little couple of problems tonight, but I'll take it up for him, and he trusts me to speak in his on his behalf as he looks nervously at the camera going, I don't know. But anyway, hey, we want to welcome you to the Weather Soul podcast. We are just growing by leaps and bounds now. We're thanking everybody here that gives us any kind of comment, any kind of listens. The listenership is up. The subscriptions are up on the YouTube page. You can grab us on YouTube. Just type in the Weather Soul podcast. It'll take you right to the WSLN website, which is, let me show you the WSLN website here real quick. Let me share the screen here. Did I share the screen? I didn't share the screen yet. How do I do that? I don't know how I do that. How do I do that? Okay, let's go. Share the screen. No, we can't share the screen here because I got to share the screen like this, right? There we go. Bang! Here we go. And this is the Weather Soul Liberty Network right here. And I wanted to thank a special friend of mine who actually gave us a comment. I do another podcast every morning called The Morning Drive. And if you are on YouTube or you're a subscriber to the Facebook group or you're a subscriber, you're one of my friends, you get to see me every morning talking about what's going on that day or how I'm feeling or what I'm doing with Plexus or whatever else is going on. And you get to see me every day. So that's my daily podcast. It's about 5 minutes long. It's on my way to work, and we just love it. And my buddy Dave Petty, who I haven't seen in years, Dave, thank you, man, for being a subscriber and a listener. We love you, man. He just said, hey, Chip, which is my nickname. I'd like to make a comment to my brothers and sisters out there. Love one another and help one another. Life is hard enough to get through if we help each other, let alone fighting against each other. So let's stop for a minute and take a deep breath and look at the important things in life that we miss. We are preoccupied with the evil being dictated as normal, because it's not. Charles Barkley was right when he said the media and our government thrives on pitting us against each other. Stand up for what is good and righteous, and if not yourself, do it for your kids and your family. Stand up to those who treat your God-given constitutional rights as something that wasn't ordained by God and inspired by righteousness. Fight against them, and you'll be fighting against evil. I feel it's time that we let the people prevail. So thank you, Dave, for giving us that comment. And you guys can comment anytime you want on the WSLN YouTube page. You can go there. You can watch all our videos. Our playlist is pretty full. We've got lots of playlists. We've got How About This? We got Independent of Your Stomach. We got Bruce for Liberty. We got The Morning Drive. And we also got the Weather Soul podcast. Look at Dougie's handsome face right there. I mean, come on. How can you resist not wanting to listen or go to the Weather Soul podcast? It's just, it just baffles me how you wouldn't want to go there. But you can also get us the Weather Soul podcast on anchor.fm. And all you have to do is go to anchor.fm /the Weather Soul podcast. And you can get all our audio podcast, because I do the audio podcast right after I do this. Also, you can support us also. So if you wanted to support the show, you can support us at 99 cents a month. You can support us at $4.99 a month. You can support us at $9.99 a month. If you support us at $9.99 a month, Doug is going to come in and he's going to move in with you. So, what a better deal than that, but we'll go through that later. And I just wanted to share a couple things with you while we're getting ready to do this podcast, because it's been an eventful weekend for me. At least it's been an eventful weekend for me. I'm on high, man. I'm on way high, because I golf. I love to golf. Once a month I golf with a bunch of friends of mine from the IBEW 322 that's located in San Jose, California. Hi guys out there. If you guys are listening, I love you guys. I've had the best 2 months of my life. I only golf once a month because I've got like a ton of stuff to do. And last month I came in first place in my tournament in my flight. I'm a high handicapper. My handicap's like 29. Okay, so I went out and I shot like under 100. I won the tournament last month. Well, this month we went to what we call Pacific Grove over in the Monterey Bay. Beautiful municipal course, right on the beach and everything. It's like the poor man's Pebble Beach, but it was just a great time. And I shot a 90, which I've never shot. I haven't shot a 90 like in a decade. Maybe 15 years has been since I've shot a 90. I swear to God. And I lost by one stroke. I came in second place in the tournament, but I'm way up there in the standings, and it's just been great. I mean, it's one of my passions that I like to when I relax. My other passion is gardening. We'll be talking about that in a minute. But man, what a great time. I mean,
you should have demanded a recount.
I did demand a recount because my buddy Harold, who beat me, he shot an 84, but he's a 21 handicap, so he shot just one shot better than me. I mean, it was just that one little missed putt that I had, the two that were in the sand that I got that I didn't really get out cleanly. I mean, but I was being real quiet because I don't think anybody around me on my foursome knew how good I was golfing because they were just having a bad time themselves. And here I am quietly, shooting a 90 ho hum, but it was really fun. I love golfing. How you doing, Doug?
So your really good time is like equivalent to their really bad time. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's like fishing. You can never have a bad day of golf. I mean, really. I mean, it's like fishing. Have you ever had a bad day of fishing? No. I mean, would you rather be fishing or working?
Not even when it was raining. Not even when the boat sank.
Absolutely. So that's why I was so stoked, man. I was just really excited about it, and I'm just I'm on a Mile High Club right now, and I'm just going. We play Aptos Seascape next month, and that's another one by the beach. I can't wait. I'm just really excited. I mean, I'm just like I can only attribute it really to the probiotics I'm taking. Really, Doug. I mean, when I told you guys about the vital biome that we took last month when we did the product of the month, it is really a not a mood enhancer, but it lowers down your stress. I've got increased concentration and stuff like that. I'm able to let stuff just pass by, and I'm telling you right now, I said, I've been doing this for 2 months, and for 2 months I've been having the best freaking golf of my life. So I mean, you can put two and two together, man, and it comes out Plexus. So if you want to hear anything about Plexus, I'll be giving you another plug a little later. So anyway, how you doing, Doug? How's your weekend, brother?
It was okay. Yeah, it was kind of quiet. We did some chores around the house.
Good.
Yeah, I'm trying to dig out the backyard a little bit. Got another two contractor bags full of trash out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of dump days coming up for San Martin. Whatever the hell it's called, transfer station.
Right.
So I think you're allowed to bring 2 bulky items and paint. I forget what else, but yeah. So I've got like 12 used gallons of paint that I pulled out of the garage. Because some of them are probably still good, some of them probably aren't. But you never know. It's like at least keep it for. I like to keep at least the name in case I have to get more. I can at least have the formula of it.
Right.
But I suppose I could write that down and put it in a book. But anyway, we got the house insulated.
Yeah.
So we've got little patches. There's little dots in the wall all over the place for where they pump the stuff in, and so easy sand job, easy patch job, but we're gonna have to repaint.
Yeah,
so
you're gonna have to repaint.
Getting all new colors. So we got get rid of this dozen of half-empty cans. We're getting another
buy a whole new dozen
half-empty cans coming in a month.
Hey, John, how you doing out there, man? He says 90. Wow, impressive. So he's just like, yeah. John's out there. He's pretty envious about that. I'm sure he's pretty envious about that insulation job you got because he lives back there in Pennsylvania, and I guess they insulate their houses out there. I'm going like,
yeah, when they're built.
Yeah, they don't really insulate houses out here in California. So what you've done is just like going like, okay, nobody does that. But I mean, I would love to have it done to my house. Believe
Speaking of
me.
houses, have you heard of all the news about the price of lumber?
The price of lumber is going through the roof, dude.
400%.
I'm having my fence done, thank God, on Wednesday. And believe me, I'm getting a bargain price right now. I'm paying about $1,400 on my side of the fence. The other, my other neighbor's paying the other 14, so that's 28. We paid about, I think it was somewhere around that much, maybe even $3,000 for the fence on the side. So all I know is that wood has been just going freaking crazy, dude. I saw actually a Facebook post the other day where a guy had probably 4 or 5 2 by 12s or something like that, redwood, and he said this was up in Canada, and it was like $420 or $440 for just that little bit of wood. It's crazy out there, dude. 400%. Yeah. Okay. So why? I mean, probably I would say the supply chain is probably one of the
well, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So what happened is during the recession, everybody just pulled way back on their inventories of lumber.
All right.
They're like, order only what you need.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a month's worth sitting in my yard. Right.
Absolutely.
So only order what you need. So all the supply lines emptied out. Now during the pandemic, everybody's, putting on a room. They got, like, I need an escape room. I need a shed. I need a hole in the backyard with a big heavy door on it.
Supply and demand. Supply and demand. Yeah, brother Bob's doing the same thing. He's building himself a shed. I'm going like, you sure you want to build a shed right now, dude? Lumber is like way expensive. So he's trying his best to cut corners wherever he can. But our buddy John, who's online with us right now, commenting, he's in that supply chain business, so he would know best on how supply chains work and stuff like that. But we know, just from the car manufacturers saying that they're having to halt production on cars because of the chip shortage and stuff like that. That's just the tip of the iceberg on the supply chains that have just been severed because of the coronavirus. If not for lack of supplies, for lack of buyers, for lack of production, for lack of all kinds of different things, and it's going to take us a while to get out of here. But we'll see what happens.
True. Like my suppliers have been, all through the whole pandemic, when the pipes emptied out,
right.
All supplies ran out, and people started to reorder, and everybody's like, "Oh, jeez." First, it was everything will be okay in April.
Yeah,
everything will be okay in August. It's still not okay, brother.
Yeah, things aren't okay.
I still can't get materials that I need.
Yeah, things are going up.
Yeah,
I know you're having a hard time. I know you were having a hard time getting circuit breakers and stuff like that.
I ordered specialty circuit breakers, and like 3 weeks later, I get an email saying, "Sorry, buddy."
Yeah, that's crazy,
we're
man.
Canceling your order because we just can't get it.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But anyways, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, I think it's universal. So far, everything, even food, it's hit.
Right. Well, hey, one thing you can do about getting the food is to grow your own. And like I promised you guys last week, I wanted to do this clip last week, but me and Dougie, we just get to rambling on. I like to keep this podcast down to about an hour, and we just didn't have enough time to get to it last week. But here's one of the things that I wanted to do every week is that I'm passionate about gardening. I'm passionate about growing my own food. I'm trying to get passionate about being as self-sufficient as possible. I know Dougie shares a lot of that in the realm that we both grow things to trade and to eat and to consume, and Dougie makes like the best freaking nectarine or peach cobbler that I've ever had, and they're off of his trees, and he brings over limes and he takes lemons from me, and we just trade and everything. We got Victory Gardens, haha, and it starts with your soil. And one of the things that I want to teach you guys while you're here, because I am a gardener. I mean, that's what I do. We've had Josh Forsyth here on the podcast. He's also an urban farmer. I like to call myself an urban farmer because I have pretty much everything in my yard you can eat besides the evergreen trees. So I mean, but what I like to do is I like to start. Go ahead.
I like to interject. You talk about your microbiome all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right, your soil has a microbiome.
Absolutely,
that's just as important to its health.
Absolutely, because if you
Wow.
don't treat
Yeah.
that soil right and feed that soil, it's because you could grow all the food you want. Actually, you can't grow all the food you want out of that soil. I mean, depending on whether you're a man of
Can't
faith
grow
or a man
everything
of the
you
earth,
need.
you
You
can't
need
grow
about an
everything
acre.
you need.
Yeah, at
You
least an
have
acre
to,
per person to get
yeah,
everything you need. But
you have to feed your soil good stuff, just like you have to feed your body good stuff to keep going. But when I first moved to this house that I have now, I was blessed that I bought it from a landscaper, and the landscaper had done a lot of work, except for this one little spot where I wanted my garden. And at that time, there was a shed there, but he had a lot of things that were laying around. So there was glass and all kinds of stuff that was in the soil, and it wasn't very good. I mean, there was some good soil in there, he had packed in there, but I had to work that soil to death to get it there. And I'm going to show you a little short video just on how I started to prep this soil, and I hope it gives you guys an inspiration to get down there and get your hands in the dirt. But this is how I started getting a clay soil. I mean, a hard clay soil into what you're going to see. I think you're going to be fascinated by it. And at the end or anything like that, when I start getting this really ramped up and ready to go, I'll give you the plans on how to make the tools that I use for my garden. I'll give you advice on how to use tools and how to do this and how to do that. And I'm just hoping that you enjoy this little stream right here, and we'll get right to it. Here we go. Hey guys, this is AKA the Weathered Soul here, and hey, these are my garden beds. And I know that I told you that on the podcast. I'm going to start doing some stuff on gardening and such, and I wanted to show you just what kind of soil that I have in my garden. Now, I've been working these boxes for probably going on 12 years now, since I moved here to Gilroy, and it took a lot of work, and I'm going to show you just a little bit of the work that I have going on. But I'm going to use this shovel here to show you just the impact of what working this soil every year and putting compost and stuff like that into it yields you throughout the year. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my shovel here, and I'm going to put it in the ground, and I'm just going to give it a little shove. Look at how far that shovel went down. That's not clay soil. That's really, really healthy soil. And this is about as much work as I have to do to turn over my soil each year. It's really, really easy. I mean, look, I can pound it down just with a little bit of force, and it goes down that much. You cannot do that in the California clay soil that we have here. So what I want to show you is what I did about 12 years ago, and here's how I started. I started out with what I call my soil sift. And all my soil sift is it's a little frame that I made. I had some parts around the house, like some 4x4s or 2x4s that I used as a frame. And then I used this 1/4-inch mesh, this old chicken wire that I got from Tractor Supply or Home Depot. I don't remember. It was laying around the house. And then actually these boxes have been sitting for about a year or so. I let my boxes sit every once in a while for a year just to overgrow, and then I let them rest so they can produce more fruit during the times that I do grow in them. But actually sometimes what I'll do is I'll put in some errant soil that I have laying around the house and kind of use it as my storage my storage unit actually for soils and stuff. So I'm going to actually show you how this works. So we'll step over here and we put on my gloves really quick, as I like to work with gloves sometimes. If you get into that rocky soil, what happens is you can come up with some nasty cuts. But I do like to get my hands dirty in soil all the time, because it's a really healthy thing to do, is to get your hands dirty every year, or anytime you can, get your hands into soil, because soil is part of us, part of the earth, and that's what's cool. So I take a couple shovels full, and this is a little exaggerated because I had a bucket of rock that I needed a bucket, so I had to take the rocks out of the bucket and put it in my soil. But I just do this every year anyway. Sometimes if I know that I haven't worked a piece of my yard, but this is a little exaggerated, but you'll get the idea. So you take this sift, you put it over a place where you want your soil or a wheelbarrow. This frame actually happens to sit over my wheelbarrow, so it's really, really convenient. And then have a little receptacle that you can put the extra rock in. And basically you just take this and you start moving it around and you sift it out, and you sift out all the weeds, most of the seeds that you got, because sometimes you get some pretty big seeds. I have a problem with onions around here, so the onion seeds kind of get through there, but I pick those every year. Sometimes I let the seeds germinate and stuff like that, because you know sometimes you got to have some weeds in your garden to get the pests out. So it's really, really kind of healthy for your soil to do this. Now, there's some gardeners that'll tell you that you need rock in your soil, and that is true. There's some uses for rock in your soil. It helps drainage. It helps keep the soil loosened up. But believe me, if you start taking some of the rock out of your soil and putting nutrients back in your soil, the earthworms will come, and they will take care of everything you need to be able to keep that dirt loose. And basically what you do after you get all this is that you basically take the rock out and you can dump it in your wheelbarrow. Or right now, I'm just putting it back in the actual bucket that I had. And actually the reason why I save this rock is I save this rock because sometimes I'll need it for my container gardening. So I'll put it on the bottom of the containers and use that for drainage. And that's basically what I do. What you find out after you use this soil sifter is you have some nice, I'll move this out of the way. What you have is you have some nice soil here. It's all broken up. It's got most of the stuff out of it. A little bit of compost. A couple rocks got through, but no big deal. You can take those out and put that in there. But that soil right there is ready to level out. It's ready to put compost in. It's ready to put your chicken manure, your steer manure, whatever you want to use. But this is my Weathered Soul Gardening Minute for today. This is how I started out getting this soil all ready for a planter box like this, or even a planter box like this raised box. And let me tell you, for the last 12 years, this yard and this soil has served me well. Takes a little sweat and tears, blood, sweat, and tears, but believe me, when you're biting into a nice cool tomato or some basil or some cucumbers or a squash, you'll know that you did it right. So this is AKA the Weathered Soul. I want to thank you for letting me share my moment with you, and I will see you guys next week. So yeah, so that's a little bit of how I get through the early days of spring, and believe me, I tell you what, besides golf, that is the most relaxing thing that I do, man. I tell you right now, I love to just work in the garden and pull the weeds and do all that. And believe me, I can do that all day long, and it is so relaxing. Most people say, "Oh, that's physical work. It'll just pound you to death." I was like, "Yeah, it does," but I mean, it's very relaxing to me. It's I get in touch with I guess something inside of me that just craves to be able to farm and stuff like that. I know Doug does a little bit of this, so I get his comment on it if he wants to comment on anything there. Oh, you're muted there, big guy. You're muted.
Happens all the time.
There you go.
Mute myself during your segment so that you don't have to hear me snorting and sniffling and everything else. But anyway, yeah. So using the sieve like that for even like you put all your compost, after you've turned your compost and you got your bottom dirt out of your compost, you put that through the sieve too, just in case there's any rinds or roots or anything like that left. Then you could throw that back into the compost or throw it away, whatever you care. But yeah, to sift the soil like that it's like the same thing. Reason why you sift flour or anything like that, it's just to make it more homogeneous, right? It mixes it all up it mixes it better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. Believe me, in the 12 years that actually, I just haven't been doing this for 12 years. I mean, we were living in a condo for a long time, and we had a balcony, and we did container gardening, and it was the same thing. I mean, you really have to be careful on things. You learn some things as you start out. You learn what's good, what's bad. You learn that weeds aren't all bad. Right now, my garden looks pretty antiseptic with no weeds in it, but I do let them grow over. I do have some weeds around that I keep around, but I kind of keep my beds, kind of alive. And I do companion garden. So, there's a lot of marigolds and spices and herbs and stuff that are along with the vegetables and stuff that I grow. And
Yeah.
as you go through, like I said, every week I'm going to be giving you more tips. They won't be as long as the tip that we had right here. I was kind of,
Right.
on a roll here, but we're going to give you some tips and some ideas.
And you want to rotate. You want to rotate your crops.
Yeah, you got to rotate your crop
boxes. So one isn't just doing all tomatoes all the time. Right?
Yeah,
You move it around because some plants will pull some stuff out of the soil. Some will put some stuff in. So you keep everything mixed up. Help because it's not a huge area. It's actually a pretty small area. You don't have that much. Maybe 150, 200 square feet dedicated.
Let's see, the upper box is 8x8, or actually 6x6. So what's that? 6x6 is
36 square feet.
36 square feet there. The three little separate boxes that you see right there are 2 feet by 8. There's 3 of those, and then on the other side, the smaller boxes are 2 feet by 6. And there's 3 of those. So there's really not that much, but man, we get a
couple
lot.
Of pads, a couple of pads, and
we got a couple of paths, and then Tracy has her container gardening. She does tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff and some other stuff. I got a boat that I have.
You got to do a segment on that.
I got to do a segment on my boat. So some people don't have a boat garden in their backyard, but the Weathered Soul has a boat garden.
Well, the thing is too is when I was a kid, we used to have a huge garden. There were 7 of us in our family, so we used to eat a lot. But also, we made pickles and we stewed tomatoes and we canned all that kind of stuff, which I don't do anymore. So, for me, my garden size is only what my wife and I can eat while it's fresh. So It's like, all right, so June to maybe middle of September, beginning of October. Sometimes our tomatoes last into November.
Oh yeah.
So what we can eat there. So, 1 plant of this and 1 plant of that and 1 plant of that. You don't have to have, like acres and furrows of plants going. Just a couple little plants here and here and there. Plants. And you're good to go. Just treat them right. They'll treat you right.
Yeah, I was thinking about tomatoes is that our friend Jill that goes to the barn with us, she had tomatoes 2 years ago that went all winter long until she planted the next year. It was incredible. She was getting cherry tomatoes
I've had volunteers
through. I've
had volunteers where I just leave the plant in the container.
Yeah.
And then the next spring, because the ones that fell off into the container.
Right. Yeah.
The next spring I'll get like a handful of volunteers. I'll look at the most healthy one, pull the rest out, and there's my tomato for next year.
There you go. But I really enjoy this, and I hope you guys enjoy it because we're going to give you something like that all the time. And we're just happy that you're here. And like I said, again, we're happy that you're here listening to us and watching us on YouTube or on Facebook Live. You can get us on either one. Monday nights at 7:00. We're usually here. If not, we delay a day out or something. It depends if I'm working late or Doug's working late or we don't feel good or whatever. Sometimes we're here, sometimes we're not. But most of the times we're here on a Monday night. And then you can get us on anchor.fm /The Weathered Soul podcast for the audio feed or any of your podcatchers out there like Stitcher, YouTube, all kinds of stuff. And we just would love you if you enjoy this podcast, even if you don't enjoy this podcast, share it with somebody, share it with your enemy, share it with your neighbor, share it with your friend, and just give us a thumbs up. Go to iTunes and give us a 5-star review and a comment, just like Dave Petty did. I mean, that came out of nowhere. I'd never expected to hear from him. I didn't even know that he was a listener of the podcast. But we want to thank Dave, and I will mention you guys whenever you guys want to make a comment or some kind of a question or something like that. Me and Dougie would be happy to opine or take one of your topics. And in fact, what we're going to do here pretty soon is we're going to come up with another segment called In Case You Missed It. And that's going to be a listener and viewer driven segment. So if you've got some In Case You Missed It item that you want to share with us, we would be more than happy to you either video it and send it to us, or you can you can record it audioly and send it to us. I'll give you that information next week because I'll have all the strings all tied up and ready to go. We'll wrap it up in a bow and we'll send it out there to you guys. And me and Dougie will be more than happy to talk about any topic that you guys want to talk about it within reason. It has to be G-rated. It has to be PG rated at least because, we don't like to, push away the little kiddies here. I want them to know how to garden and everything. But
one thing you can guarantee about the Weathered Soul podcast is you should expect not to expect what you expect.
You just never know when something's
don't. If you watch it once, don't expect it to be the same next time you watch it. Because we vary topics. If something is important in the news, we'll talk about it. If we don't feel like talking about the same old crap that's in the news for the last 3 weeks because everybody's already heard it, then we'll do something else. Maybe we'll talk about the weather or where bugs come from. Who knows? We do anything.
Yeah. And then because you guys haven't sent us anything, we have to go on with the news that we've been listening to for the last 3 weeks. So anyway.
That's those opinions and gossip mostly.
I wanted to do a piece. Dougie put a bug in my ear. And he's always accused me of, I'm a Fox News follower and this, and admittedly so. I do go to Fox News a lot. I go to Fox News a lot to read the sensational spin that they put on crap, and it's just amazing. And I hope this clip goes through because Bill Maher did a clip this last week on his show, and I hope that YouTube doesn't kick us off for this, but I'm going to share it anyway with you. I'm going to hope that it comes through the monitor. I really do, because I think it's a great clip, and I really I've learned to like Bill Maher. So I mean, I heard a quote today that Bill Maher is better when there's a Democrat in office than there is when there's a Republican in office. But this is something that hits me both ways, because it's really, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm kind of not even a straight down the middle guy. I'm just a common sense guy, and Bill just speaks to me during this, and I wanted to share it with you if you guys haven't shown it on HBO. Thank you, HBO. If I violated your terms of service, I'm sorry, but I have to share this. So here we go.
No sound, boss.
Okay, well, I was told that there was no sound in this, so we're going to have to go forward with the podcast. I will try to get that clip for you guys on the audio side. Sorry for the delay there. I didn't know. John, thank you for getting us for the sound. I kind of figured that was going to happen, but as I was looking on the StreamYard app that we're working with, they said that I could do it, so I tried to do it.
Yeah, thanks, John, because I tried to instant message Bruce and it didn't go through. I was about to send him a text,
but anyway,
so right on.
It
But listen, we know what he said, and anybody who watched knows what he said. But you can give your crux of it, and I can give my rebuttal.
Well, I think
we both agree on a lot of stuff that he said.
Yeah,
right? I mean, he basically said going outside and being around people is not so dangerous as either the liberal or the conservative media has made us think.
Absolutely. I mean, if it wasn't the rhetoric that was so hard on one side of the deniers and the rhetoric on the other side that were just so freaking torn to the CDC and the WHO and the Chinese and whoever else that they would talk to, it's just been, this pandemic has been, I want to say it's a pandemic, but this pandemic has just been, it's not a farce, but it's definitely just overhyped, and everybody's all sensitive about it. Yeah. And so it's just been a media firestorm of
and crap. Also a marketing and merchandising one too.
Oh my God.
I told you the carpetbaggers are coming, dude.
You did tell me the carpetbaggers were coming. And so they did. And so they're riding in now. And so they're riding around now. I mean, who knew that masks were going to be flying off the shelves and, all these custom masks. I got custom masks from my friends and stuff like that.
I love your concern for my health, but enough with the masks. I got like 12. I got a hippie mask. I got a church mask.
I even got masks to go with my hats and my
exactly. I got my wedding mask.
And it is so crazy, and I'm really, really sad that the Bill Maher thing didn't go through, man. Yeah. I really wanted everybody
remember
to hear
some of
about
the statistics he said. 50% of conservative news watchers think that it's like a 50-50 chance of dying if you get COVID. And 20% of them think that it's like like a 40% chance. Yeah. And conservative news watchers are about the same ratio, just a little bit less. Instead of like 50% of them, it's like 40% of them actually think you get COVID, you die.
Yeah, dude.
When reality is, it's like 1.5 people out of 100.
Right. It's been what was it?
Not 50 out of 100.
No, we figured it out the last week when we talked about 1 out of 2,262 people. That was the death rate. 1 out of 2,262 people who contract a COVID. Probably going to die. Another thing that Bill Maher said was,
I mean, if you just do the straight math, like whatever it is, 37 million cases and 600,000 deaths, that's 1.5%.
1%, yeah,
almost
1.5. And I've been arguing that. And I've been arguing that too. One of the things that caught me off guard big time, and I kind of knew it anyway. I think it was it 73 or 78%. It was somewhere in the 70s. Between 73 and 78% of the people who were hospitalized and died of COVID were obese.
Yeah, 78%.
78% were obese. Yeah. And one of the things that Bill was saying was just like, what happened? What happened to the message? Why wasn't the message out there that the better you take care of yourself? But I've been talking about that for since July, right? When I started this probiotic thing, Tug. I've been pounding you over the head with it. Yeah, I'm just saying,
being active, being outside, being exposed, getting some exercise, getting your blood flowing, letting your filters do their job.
Right,
all that stuff is really important.
It's really important.
But the thing I disagree with that he was saying is he made it sound like, if you go outside and you're in the sun, somebody with COVID can cough in your face and you're not going to get it because the sun's going to sanitize it with its UV rays. Yeah. I think he went a little too far on that one. But nonetheless, I understood his point.
Yeah, he
Like,
might have
go
been a little bit
outside.
too
Don't
far.
be afraid to go
Yeah,
outside, is what
yeah,
he's trying
yeah.
to say.
I think he was just talking about the lockdowns being ridiculous. I mean, they locked us in with the virus. I mean, that's what they did. I mean, that's essentially what they did. And
Yeah,
there's
but they
enough,
wanted to
and
keep it
there's
in your house.
and there was
If
enough
you got it, they wanted
exactly.
it to stay in
Yeah.
your house and not go
And
out
there
to the
was
grocery
and there
store.
was enough scared people out there that went like, I'm locking myself behind my door and I'm not coming out until this is over. And believe me, it was the worst freaking thing that we could possibly do. And unfortunately, I'm sorry if this hurts you blue states out there, but you blue states are still fucking it up. And that's why we have a PG
Yeah, well, the other
rating on
thing that he
here.
got wrong too was
But-
DeSantis is an asshole. Okay, he is not smart, and the COVID rate has gone up in his state in the last 3 weeks. Okay, it was down to almost 4,500 a day until he opened it up, and now it's up to almost 7,000 a day.
No, he's always been opened up. He's always been. Greg Abbott was the one that opened his state up. He's actually went down, and it's still going down. But what he did get wrong is that Florida is going up. But the thing is that the death rate is still at 1.7 if you get it. So I think the crux of the matter is what I took from his monologue there was just the fact that this is ridiculous of what we're listening to. I mean, what are the three big websites that people go to get their news? They go to Fox News, they go to CNN, they go to MSNBC.
No, it's
Those
Google,
are the three that they go to.
Google, Yahoo, and AOL.
Yeah, but not a whole lot. Yeah. I mean, for readable stuff. Now
and then they lead you over to the. But yeah, I wanted to.
What I've done is actually, Doug called me out the other day and says, a lot of stuff that you talk about, is kind of word for word from Fox News. And believe me, when I go to Fox News and I see something, what I do is I'm going there, number one, just to find the sensational headlines because they fucking make them as sensational as you can get, dude. Let me tell you. They're the worst. It's like the National Enquirer, man.
You've got to understand my motivations, though. Okay. All right.
I know your motivation.
No. Because
tell the audience your motivation.
Well, you remember the editorial I wrote about
yes, I do.
Republicans and libertarians.
Yes, I do. I remember that.
So I get very, very nervous when I hear a libertarian spouting Republican lines, okay? Because it makes me feel like you've been infiltrated. And I really want you not to be infiltrated.
Oh, no.
Okay? Because that's my concern. That's why I say that stuff to you.
Because let me tell you something about DeSantis, man. We went through this the other day, and I've been I cruise around libertarian circles all the time. And DeSantis, when he brought down that executive order, which I hate executive orders. I don't give a damn if you're a freaking president, governor, a freaking mayor, or whatever. Executive orders. No, you go through the council.
How about
you
king?
Go through.
If you're king, can you do
king? I don't know, guys, if you're monarchy. But DeSantis came down and said he was going to prohibit vaccine passports. Well, it's split. Right. It split the freaking LP down the freaking middle. Believe me. I mean, there were some people who were going like, "Yeah, DeSantis is telling them no passports." Well, you know what? If you subscribe to dictating what a corporation or company can do, you just bought into tyranny. Right. Plain and simple, baby. Plain and simple. There's no backing out of it. There's no getting around it. If you're plain and you just want to be a libertarian and you don't want that kind of intervention in your life, you can't be for DeSantis saying that a corporation can't do vaccine passports. Okay, right. Because actually, if you're a libertarian and you believe that and you want to walk the walk of a libertarian and you come across a place that needs a vaccine passport to get in, you just don't go in because you have a choice.
Right. You have a choice. And listen, what a lot of restaurants and places are thinking about doing and even starting to do is, if you have your card that says you're vaccinated, come in and eat. If you don't, then there's tables outside for you. They're not going to throw you away. They want your money.
No, they want your money.
It's like I saw an interview with a restaurant owner. He's like, my job is to welcome people in. I can't turn them away. It's against what I do.
Exactly. Right? There's no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it. That's what it's doing. But
right. My job is to welcome people, not to turn them away. So we'll figure it out.
I'm so glad we got together on this, man. It's just been really, really fun to talk about it. But I said something in the Weathered Soul website the other day that kind of got a little bit of recognition, and it got Dougie's little ire up a little bit because of what he said, because he didn't read the whole thing.
What? Which whole thing? You mean those sound bites you took out of context this afternoon?
I didn't take any sound bites out of context at all.
You did.
Oh, no.
I was going to send you all of Trump's speech. You know, they've got the transcripts of it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's about 20,000 words long. You can't take 5 words out of it. You can't do that, dude. Print the whole thing or print nothing.
I gotta find it here real quick, but I mean, here we go. Let's see. No, I got it right here. I'm going like, well, I read it. I said, there's a million things we could chat about. We can have this argument or agreement. I said, so Maxine Waters last Friday night was in.
Listen, I'll give you credit for getting it right. You didn't change any words.
So Minnesota. So we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active, and we got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that we know that they mean business. This is Maxine Water on April 16, 2021. And then you have, I know everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building and peacefully and patriotically making your voice heard. That was Donald Trump on January 6, 2021. Wait a second. So hold on.
Did you read everything Maxine Waters said?
I did. I'm just.
Then why don't you read the other?
Would you listen to me? God damn, man.
It's not fair.
So my question was, statement would incite you to commit violent acts. Now, these are the 2 statements that people are going crazy over. The two statements, the one recently from Maxine Waters. I mean, she said some other insightful things way back, when Trump was president and stuff, but I'm a pure believer in free speech. I don't give a shit what you say. Yeah, I don't give a damn what Dougie says on this podcast. He doesn't give a crap what I say on this podcast, and you shouldn't give a crap what I say on this podcast, because if you don't like it, you're welcome to run on down the road and go listen to somebody else's podcast who's going to freaking script theirs, because we don't script ours. But I asked which statement would incite you to commit violence, and it's okay to say neither, because neither one would make me do idiot shit. And that was basically the end of it, because when you tune in Fox News and when you tune into CNN, and Dougie said this a million times, when you tune into NBC, all they're doing is trying to sell advertisement to their corporate buddies and getting all your freaking your viewership and selling time for products. I mean, that's really what it is.
Right. But let's talk about what you're talking about here, though, right?
Okay.
Well, you know that the rhetoric you're going to see on TV is tuned to exactly what you want to hear, because they want you to stay through the commercial to hear the last line of it, right?
Absolutely.
So that's just part of life. But the people who heard Trump say, "Let's march down peacefully and have a little maybe we'll have some tea and some crackers," whatever he said. When they got inside and they got arrested, all said, "But Trump told us to come here. Trump told us to come here." So if you listen to the rest of his speech, you'd understand that Trump told them to go.
Oh, no.
What Maxine Waters is saying is, she's saying we got to keep up the fight until these assholes understand that we mean business, and even if it takes forever.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm taking this straight off of, actually, I've took this all straight off of NPR, where you told me to go to get my news. So I've been leading to NPR. So today, when I strolled around NPR, because, well, first of all, Fox News got me there, because they got this thing, their headline right now, I brought it up, but I had it up later, that the judge, the trial judge in the Chauvin case is all up in arms because Maxine Waters said this or that. Said exactly the statement.
That's the rhetoric, the fallout from what she said.
Here we go. Here we go. So I'm going to read it off. I'm going to read it. We're playing off of NPR right now. The judge in the trial, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, criticized comments made by Representative Maxine Waters, Democrat of California, over the weekend, calling them disrespectful to the rule of law, but rejected the motion from the defense to use her rhetoric as grounds for mistrial. Let me tell you something about this. Now, all of a sudden, Fox News came out and says, "Oh, they're going to do it. They're going to counter a mistrial. They're going to overturn whatever." bullshit, because this is what the judge said. I'm aware that Congresswoman Waters was talking specifically about this trial and about the unacceptability of anything less than a murder conviction, and talk about being confrontational. Judge Peter Cahill said on Monday, as the closing arguments wrapped up in the Chauvin killing of George Floyd. Cahill said he wished elected officials would stop talking about the case, but said the jury has been instructed not to watch the news, and therefore Waters' comments could not be prejudiced to jury and warrant a mistrial. Beyond the articles that we're talking about specifically about the facts in this case, the Congresswoman's opinion really doesn't matter a whole lot. So that's quoted from the trial judge there, Mr. Cahill. So, and that's what really, it prompted me to write this, Dougie, only because of the fact that, not that I was trying to point out the insightfulness of these things, it's what it does to certain directions of how things are going. I mean, this trial with George Floyd, Chauvin's as guilty as the fucking day is long, dude. I mean, got a guy. It doesn't matter how many drugs he had in his body. It doesn't matter that he passed a $20 freaking counterfeit bill. We don't even know that, because presumably you are presumed innocent until you're proven guilty.
Right.
So Derek Chauvin decided to be judge, jury, and executioner all at one time, and for him to be sitting on that man's neck for 9 minutes. To me, when I first saw it, I'm going, and I told Dougie, me and Dougie were having a discussion. I think at the day after it happened, we had a podcast about it, and I'm going like, dude, I says, I don't know. There's not many things that I would die for, and I would probably take a second look if I wanted to charge the cop. But I mean, if there was any time to go help a human being or something like that, when somebody's kneeling on his fucking neck for 9 minutes, come on, dude, give me a break. I mean, would have I done it in the heat of the moment? I don't know. But in the anger in my mind as I'm watching, I'm going like, why isn't anybody freaking helping this guy? Why isn't I heard because they would be shot.
None of those black people would dare even step near them.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me, man. And you know what? No matter what kind of authority that the police department is, I mean, we're just getting deluged daily now with officer involved shootings, mass shootings, this and that. And it's amazing. Here's one of the dichotomies that really kind of put out in my head, and I told Dougie this earlier too, was how quickly that we were defunding the police about a year ago, and then all of a sudden now we're talking about, with all these mass shootings, now police should only have guns, right? So I mean, where is that all coming from?
Guns.
Yeah, only the police should have guns. So where's that all coming from, guys? I mean, really, to me, it just solidifies what the Second Amendment is all about. It's not about you going out and being able to just shoot your gun in the air like the fucking Wild Wild West in a freaking concert because you freaking love the freaking, like they show you in Tombstone, right? But no, it's about responsible fucking gun ownership. It's about knowing what you have in your hand. It's about knowing what you're carrying around. It's about knowing when you're hunting. It's about knowing when you're protecting. And it's about knowing that if you're going to point a gun at somebody, you better be pointing it to shoot and kill somebody, because this is a serious thing. It's not a deterrent. It is never meant to be a deterrent. It's meant to be protection. It's meant to be used as a tool for hunting. It's meant to be used as a tool for recreation if you wanted to do recreation with it. So
my saying on it, right? It's like anybody who wants to own a gun needs to be able to say out loud, a gun is a machine whose only purpose for existence is to kill. Period.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
If you're going to go target shooting, you're practicing to kill.
You're practicing to kill.
Okay.
Right, exactly.
If you're going to, or you're pretending to kill, one or the other.
Yeah.
But there's no two ways why that machine is there is to kill.
There's no two ways.
It's not for fun.
No.
If you shoot, you saw a shoot for fun. No, you're shooting to pretend to kill, and you think that's fun.
Yeah. When you go to Vegas and they let you shoot the AK-47 or the submachine gun at whatever they have out there in the middle of the fucking desert, that's what you're doing. You're fantasizing about going out there and shooting up a freaking town or a car or whatever it is.
Trust me, that's when I had an AR-15, it was only for fun.
Yeah.
It's only for fun.
Yeah.
We never intended to kill anything with it. Not even a lousy jackrabbit.
Yeah, well, my guns are intended to kill. So whether I go hunting with them or whether I'm protecting my family with them, they are there to kill. So if I mean, I'm not threatening anybody. So if you come to my house and you happen to have a bat, I'm probably going to go after you with a bat. If you have a knife, I'm probably going to grab a bat or something like that. But if I hear a click or a freaking whatever, you better bet that I'm going to be in my wherever where I keep them, and I'm getting them and I'm bringing them out, and you are not going to leave. So, I mean, that's just the way that I feel about it. And I'm protected, and that's just the way it is. I'm well educated about the uses of guns, permitted, I'm licensed, and that's the way it should be. Do I care about the gun legislation that's coming forward? I don't know. I haven't heard it all. I hear a lot of rhetoric. I mean, I'm not the guy that sits back and is going to knee jerk and say, that Biden's coming after my guns or Kamala's coming after my guns. Obama was supposed to come after my guns. I still have my guns, and Bush was coming after my guns, and if anybody did more damage to the Second Amendment, it was Donald Trump. So I mean, that whole thing, it's always some kind of politician that's going to come after you and just keep bleeding your rights away, and it is true. I mean, they are bleeding our rights.
There's no law that says that amendments can't be changed.
No, there is no law
that says amendments can't be amended.
Nope. There's it's right there in plain writing that you can go in there and you can petition your government to do that. There's a 2/3 majority vote in Congress for them to do a confederation of states and things like, or what does they call that? I got it wrong.
Majority,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
It's got to be a whatever.
A confederation of states. I think that's what it's called, a conference of states. Or anyway, there's a couple of different ways that you can change the Constitution. And believe me, if they start doing executive orders and stuff like that, where they're really stepping on our rights, I mean, that's when I take a stand. But I'm not going to take my gun to the freaking Capitol building and go like, "You're going to do what I say," because they're going to go pow pow pow. You're done. And I'm not willing to die for that. The only thing that I'm willing to die for is my wife and my family if they're threatened. I mean, that's basically the only thing I'm ready to die for. I'm not going to die for Derek Chauvin, getting acquitted or guilty. I'm not going to die for anybody else. It's just crazy to do that shit. It's totally stupid. And people ought to take that, for what it's worth, because it comes from, an old guy who sits around on his porch wondering when you're going to get the hell off his grass. But I mean, still, in the same token, it's truth. And it's the way I live. And I'm very, Doug talks to me about personal responsibility all the time. And that's something that I take very, very personal and I'm very, very responsible with. So that's just where I'm at. Dougie, it's getting that time, man. It's getting that time. We got a couple minutes left. What do you got on your mind to close this out, man?
Well, I'm sure I had something, but
we're gonna let it slide for tonight. Is that what we're gonna do? Hey, like I said, guys, I'm sorry for the Bill Maher thing. I'm gonna work on the sound and get that for us, so we get other clips like that. We'll be able to watch them together. I'm just really sorry about that. But hey, you guys can get us on the Weathered Soul podcast on the Anchor.fm page. Here's the Anchor.fm page if you want to look at it right now. Here it is. All you got to do is go to anchor.fm /The Weathered Soul podcast. You can go there. You can support us for 99 cents a month. If you support us for 99 cents a month, I will put you on a newsletter, and you'll get a newsletter every week from me giving you my opinions and my facts and my news articles and all that other stuff. For $4.99 a month, I don't remember what I can give you there because we're going to figure all that out. $9.99 a month, I know what I can do for you for $9.99 a month. If you give me $9.99 a month, I will advertise for you. I will give you a 30-second read on this podcast. And we just know that this is the best podcast that nobody's ever heard of. We want you to share our podcast every week. You can get us on In the Pit of My Stomach on the search the Facebook page for In the Pit of My Stomach to hear for the probiotics and the plant-based supplements. You can get us on the WSLN, Weathered Soul Liberty Network, the AKA Weathered Soul page, where you can also get this on your Facebook. And also we do have the Weathered Soul Liberty Network channel on YouTube. So all you got to do is just hit that share button, hit that like button, and we will be here all the time. Every week we're going to be here, right, Dougie?
Yeah, listen, I want to give a special shout out to John for participating tonight with comments. Right on, man. We really appreciate that. Thanks so much, John.
Absolutely, man. He's a great guy, man. He's one of my number one chums, man. But my number one chum is right over there. That's my number one chum. He's the number one guy. He's the reason why the Weathered Souls flies around here, man. And I just love it, dude. And we just love you guys for being here. So share this podcast, Dougie.
Right on.
Say
good night, Dougie.
Good night, guys. And we'll see you guys next week with another version of the Weathered Soul podcast. Have a great week.